Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner Davis.
And good evening. Boy, this is the day. Good evening to you, April.
Good evening. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm so bad. You seem so remotely away from us, but we'll tolerate that for right now. Well, April, some people want to buy homes, and we don't. I don't know exactly what to do during these turbulent times where you hear so many things. You don't know what's true out there, right? Because there are so many negative things that are coming across the airwaves about home ownership is now not best time, and the people who are very astute about it now, they know that whether it's a good time or not. They can say they can tell you, but the information is not just getting out there to them, right? So we feel obligated to that. I hope you agree with me. To
Absolutely,
get that kind of information out there to them. So tonight's guest, she will definitely bring some information like that. And boy, it's a lot too. She knows the stuff. So April, I think you're more familiar with. We both are familiar with her, but I'd like for you to move forward with her if you can. Go ahead with her.
Absolutely. Well, I don't think there's any introduction that I could personally do that would stand before Sulondia Hammond. She is a force within herself. She's a crowd motivator. She's a playwright. She is now in investments and mortgages and real estate. When I tell you, if there ever was a superwoman, it's definitely Sue Ham. And she's doing it in a way that is not only just kind of adding to her repertoire, but she is really empowering the community. Some of the things that I've been following in terms of things that she posts on social media, shows evidence that she is trying to instill in people all over communities the idea of generating generational wealth and creating streams of income, but how to do that in preparation for the future and things to come. She's even instilling these wonderful ideas into her own family in the form of her son, grandson, and everyone else who will listen. So without further ado, we're going to bring her on. Also, I need to mention she's a veteran, has served our country. So, that in itself is definitely worth applause. And we're just so fortunate to have Dr. Sue Ham, Sulondia Hammond, on our show tonight. How are you doing?
I am doing fabulous, April and Edward. Thank you so much for bringing me a part of your show. I really appreciate it.
Well,
yeah, we appreciate having you here tonight. I know you're very busy, and we were talking earlier about the fact that there's so many people who are kind of focused on like their goals for the year and for the future. And one of the goals that people tend to talk about, they tend to post about a lot, is the idea of buying a new home. First-time home buyers or people who are looking to upgrade, whatever the case may be. It's always good to see people, especially young people, get into the home buying process. But a lot of times people don't understand what that process is all about and how they need to prepare for something that could be a very long ride, right? Mm-hmm. And so, tonight we really want to just kind of focus on, the aspects of home buying, what we can do to advise people on how to get ready for that process, what they need to know about mortgages, the real estate world. And I'm sure that the things that you'll share tonight will at least shed some light and answer some questions that they may have on what to do as they prepare for this process. But before we go on, I do want to open it up for you to share a little bit more about yourself, and because you've done a lot of amazing things. And so I really want the listening and watching audience to understand who we are dealing with tonight, who we actually have in the house with us tonight. So if you will, Sam, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh, I always hate this part of the shows. I'm just blessed, man. I'm God's child. I'm blessed to do the things that I love to do. And some of the things that I love to do that I get to be a vessel for is I get to educate, I get to entertain, and I get to just inspire people. And I do that through numerous ways. I do that through courses. I do that through stage plays, through writing, through anti-bullying seminars. I'm a real estate investor. I also teach financial literacy, and I'm a mortgage broker helping people to buy their homes. So, it's just whatever lights my fancy, I do it because it all intertwines for me. I call it the triple E's, which is equity, entertainment, and education.
That's awesome. Triple E's. I like that. Yeah. So, Brother Edward, home buying and what we know about the home buying process. At least the three of us on the screen are homeowners, right? We have been through the process. Woo! And sometimes it can be a little daunting. For the first time home buyer, Dr. Suham, what would you like for them to know about, how to even wrap their minds around the process?
The first thing I want to say is you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. I'm speaking from experience and not theory. Most times we count ourselves out. We disqualify ourselves and say, I have bad credit, or I'm not qualified. I don't have enough money. And that may be the case, but how are you going to fix that or put yourself in a position to qualify? So first thing I want you to do is work on mindset. That's very important because, like you said, sometimes the home buying process can be daunting. But here's the thing. If your mindset is a positive mindset and you have already equipped yourself with the knowledge and putting yourself in a position, then actually buying a home is really not as challenging as many people think. So working on mindset, working on getting that money together, and working on equipping yourself with the actual process of buying a home.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you mentioned,
go ahead, brother.
Mm-hmm. Said getting that money together. Mm-hmm. That's where that's the part that's probably complex to a lot of people. Okay, I'm sure that you have some strategies that you could share with them, or information that can lead to those strategies. Just let me ask you that before you start getting to explain that. Do you attempt to go through the process with the mindset that it's going to be easy for that particular person? If a person has enough gumption to want to come in your office to want you to help buy a home, help them buy a home, is the approach, your approach to them is say, well, it's an easy process, but you won't say it's a hard process, right? You would just say, right? Well, that's encouraging, to let this person know that it can be done.
Oh yeah, I'm very honest. I'm like, it can be done. Sometimes there may be little road bumps, but it can be done. It's just like, with anything in life. However, the more prepared you are, the less stressful it is. There are some people that don't experience any stress with the home buying process because they have put themselves in a position to be able to get through closing with the breeze. And by putting themselves in position, I mean by having a decent credit score. Notice I didn't say 850, 700, 720. Mm-hmm. I said a decent credit score. By having some reserves, some money in the bank. It doesn't necessarily have to be $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. But I mean, if you can have at least $3,000, $5,000, $7,000 in the bank, that helps your profile when purchasing a house. Also, having the upfront money. I know we see a lot of stuff on social media that says how people get to the closing and they walk away with money at the end of closing. And that is true. It happened to me on a veteran loan I did. I actually walked away from the closing table with about $1,500 in my pocket. But what they don't tell you is that there is money that is required up front. So I always try to tell people, do not think that you can enter this game without any money, because there's a thing called earnest money deposit that has to be put down. And in the state of South Carolina, typically that's $1,000. There's a thing called appraisal to determine the value of the property that has to be done. The bank is not going to loan you the money if the house does not meet the value. And in the case it doesn't meet the value, then you have to come up with the difference if you still want to buy that house, or either get the seller to reduce it. So appraisals typically on average are about $600. They can be more depending upon the square footage of the house, and where the home is located. Then there's a thing called home inspections. I don't care what anybody says. You always get a home inspection. I don't care if it's a brand new build. You get a home inspection.
Absolutely.
You know, those typically range anywhere between $400 to $500. Again, that's determined by the location and also the size of the home and the extent of what the in-home inspector is going to do. Then there's a termite inspection. Those typically range from 95. I see you taking notes there, April.
Yes, I am.
Those typically range from $95 to $150, and sometimes there's survey fees and whatnot. But on average, in the state of South Carolina, depending on where you are, you're going to need approximately, just in those upfront fees, anywhere between $2,000 to $2,500. Now, I tell people, it don't got to be your money. It could be your boo's money, your daddy money, your mama's money, your cousin's money. But you are going to need that upfront money to make it do what it do. And then in the end, if for some reason you qualify for a down payment assistance program, right, and you don't have to put money down, and if the seller contributes towards your closing costs, you may end up with some money back at the table, or you may end up with not having to bring any money to the closing table, or you may have to bring a minimum amount of $1,000 to $3,000, $4,000. But that's how it works out. So I tell people, why not just skip the headache and just start saving for the money? Because again, most down payment assistance programs, you need a 640 credit score. Now, as a mortgage broker, yes, I can do loans down to 500 credit score, but let me go ahead and forewarn you. Number one, your interest rate is going to be high, which means that your payments are going to be high. Number two, you're going to be putting down more money than the average person. So you still got to have money. So I know that was a long answer.
No, it's just a penalty for not having good credit.
Yeah. I was talking with someone and I was like, the reason why they're able to offer people with good credit 0 to 3% interest rate is because there are so many people with bad credit that pay the high interest. So
that's how they recoup it. Yeah. And so, I don't know how often you get this question, but I'm sure it's on the minds of people who are thinking about buying a home, but they need to work on certain aspects like saving the money, building the credit up and things like that. Typically, someone would probably want to know, well, how long does it take? And I think that's kind of subjective. It's almost a hard thing to really answer because as we know with credit scores, there's some work you have to put into it. And sometimes people run across these services that promise to repair your credit, to help you build up your score quickly. And I'm sure that there's a little cautionary tale behind that as well. But as you're managing expectations and building mindsets, what is like a word of caution that you want people to really understand about how to begin this process, and especially from the standpoint of the credit and saving the money?
I think that let's go with credit. I think that with credit, it really varies, and you're absolutely right. Thank you for saying that. Every scenario is different, and I do want to say for anyone who's watching this currently live or maybe on a replay later on, do not go by what someone else tells you, what your sister told you or your best friend told you, because their scenario is not the same as yours. When you look at borrower A, who has $20,000 in a 401k, and borrower B, who has no money, we already know borrower A has a stronger financial profile. Borrower A may have a 620 credit score. You might have an 800 credit score, but you have no money. So already you're pretty much on the same playing field. Borrower A may have been at that job 20 years. You've been at your job just right. You've been at 3 different jobs in 2 years. So you can't compare you can compare apples to oranges. It's just not going to math. The math won't be mathing. So I always tell people, always speak to someone and get a loan consultation, because your scenario is different than the other person. Now, speaking to how long it takes to get your credit up to par. I'm not a credit repair specialist, but I know that there are like some simple things that you can do to get your credit, to get your scores up a little higher. One is disputing things that are on your credit report that are 7 years or older. A lot of people don't even look at their credit. So the first thing you need to do is pull your credit report. And there are so many free platforms that you can go do that at. Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian offer a free service to do that. You can go to annualcreditreport.com and do that. and you can look at your credit report, and anything that's 7 years or older, you can dispute it yourself. Anything that's inaccurate, you can dispute it yourself. You can do that on the phone, you can mail it in, or you can do it online with the dispute. Now, I've talked to quite a few credit specialists, and of course, they're going to tell you, which is the truth, everyone is different. Some people, they can see results in 30 days, 45 days. Some people, it may take a little longer. It just depends on what you have on your credit. When it comes to saving money, here's what I tell people. There are so many free budgeting apps on your phone, because we got that phone in our hands, like, hey. So check your credit and download the budget apps. And so I tell people what's important to you is what you spend your money on. So start analyzing your bank statements and your credit card statements and see what you can eliminate from that and start saving. The second thing is see how you can increase your income. A lot of people always tell us to decrease bills, but they never tell us to increase income. See how you can increase your income. Number 3, a lot of people don't want to hear this. They don't want to do it. I did it. Downsize your lifestyle. Sacrifice so that you can have the things that you want to have. If you have to move in with family so that you can start banking some money, then do that. If you don't want to do that and you have your own spot already renting, then if you maybe you want to take on some roommates and let them supplement the rent that you're paying so that you can beef up your savings. Of course, you want to always be looking for grant programs. You want to be looking for down payment assistance programs. You want to speak with a great real estate agent, a great mortgage broker to see how you can negotiate certain things if you don't have money, like I said, with the down payment assistance programs and grant programs. But maybe you can get seller concessions, get the seller to help you buy down the rate so that the interest rate is lower. Get the seller to offer some help with closing costs so you don't have to bring as much money to the closing table. So there are different things that can be worked out, but the biggest thing is taking a look at your credit, taking a look at your budget, look at what your money is, look at how much you have coming in, look at how much you have going out, look at how much you can save, what can you do to increase your income and decrease your debt, and see what programs exist out there. There's a USDA program, Zero Down. Now, mind you, there are income and location restrictions, but it exists. There's the Veterans Program, which I think is the best program in the world, but not everybody qualifies. It's Zero Down, Then, of course, there's conventional programs, 3% down. Then there's the FHA program, which most people think it's a first-time homebuyer program, but it's not. It's for anyone who can qualify. It's 3.5% down payment. So, and with every loan, even with the VA loan or USDA loan, even though it's zero down, there's still closing costs associated with every loan. So,
so we got to. That's all right. You're catching everybody's attention. I'm sure they're probably captured like I am. The credit score. Now, is that if I got a credit score in South Carolina, say 640, something like that? Is that the same in North Carolina? Are they flexible?
No, it's the same.
It's the same.
Pretty much the same. I know with us, we use the FICO scores. So I tell people you can actually go to myfico.com.
Right.
I think it's like $30.
Right.
And you can see your scores. The scores that we use are your mortgage scores, because you're going to see a set of scores for car payments, for credit cards, and for mortgages. And then you're going to see your regular FICO scores, might be FICO 2 scores. We use the actual mortgage score. Right. So what you want to do with those 3 scores is you want to take the highest score and you want to chunk it out. The lowest score, you want to chunk it out, get rid of it. We're going with the middle score. So if your scores are 701, 702, 703, you get rid of the highest, 703, you get rid of the lowest, 701, and then you go with the middle score, 702.
When sometimes when people pull their credit reports, they may have a TransUnion and Experian, different types of credit reports. And if you're a follower of your credit report, sometimes you realize that, wait a minute, this TransUnion doesn't match the Experian. What's going on? And then a lot of people love Credit Karma. and they will, follow Credit Karma and use that as the end all and be all. And that's something that I think people need to be mindful of, that, the reporting periods and structures and, the scores don't always align. So what do you think is like the best report to use if you want to really know like the most accurate picture about your credit?
myfico.com.
MyFICO. Okay.
Yeah, myfico.com. Definitely. It's going to give you your car credit report number. It's going to give you the credit card credit score, and of course, what we use is your mortgage score. So, and it costs less than going out to Longhorn and getting a steak. $30. It's worth it.
Okay.
You're worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's worth it to have accurate information so that you can, like I said, manage expectations, but also not be embarrassed when you sit down with that real estate person or that mortgage person to really talk about what you feel you can get into based on the information that you've compiled. And this is really good information as far as giving people like the first steps, the homework that they need to do as they prepare for home buying. So you've given us really good background on the home buying process. Then there is like, I'm sure you probably are educating people. You mentioned financial literacy before. There's also like the home maintenance aspect of things. So, what's some advice you can give people in terms of like that home maintenance piece? Once you get in the house, here's what you need to know about how to make sure this house stays nice and livable. What is some advice you can give them?
That's another mortgage, isn't it?
No, not really. I look at it. I try to say it like this. It's like having a car. We got to maintain our vehicles, and those are depreciating assets unless you're using it to generate income. Right. But when it comes to a home, we need to maintain that as well, because we can look at it like a savings account. We can look at it like an investment account, because as we're sending those monthly payments in every month, we're paying down that mortgage, and prayerfully, our properties are in appreciating areas, which means that every year our property is getting more valuable. And so we're building more equity into it. So why wouldn't I want to take care of something that could potentially take care of me, that could potentially send my kids to college, help me to start a business, or help me to beef up my retirement? So for me, I tell people, just put money aside every month. When you have your home inspection, the home inspector is going to tell you, if it's not a new home, they're going to tell you how much life is left on that roof. So now they tell you there's 15 years left on that roof. You don't wait and start saving money in the 15th year. You start putting an extra $100 away every month, or $50 away every month, or $25 away every month. And that adds up. 50 times 12, that's $600 a year. So 600 times, 15, what is that? 9,600? I don't know. That adds up, and you spend that at Chuck E. Cheese. So look at your home inspection report and look at those things. Look at the life of your HVAC unit. Look at the life of your roof. Yeah. And now there are warranties that you can buy, but I'm gonna be very, very honest with you. You need to read the fine print on these home warranties, right? Because some of them are not going to repair everything. So what we need to do as responsible homeowners, or potential responsible homeowners, is look at our property like an investment. Look at it like one of our children, and just start putting that money away. So when that stuff does happen, you're not in a pickle. But you do want to maintain your house. You don't want to let a leak go uncared for. That's just like dis-ease in the body. If you take care of it right away, most times you can recover from it.
All right. And some of the things that you mentioned are like your larger ticket items that could cost you thousands of dollars to repair an HVAC unit, or to get a roof repaired, or what have you. But even as you are just doing your daily living in the home, there, even smaller things that could happen. An appliance can go bad, or we just recently had a situation where out of nowhere a glass shower door just shattered, and so I was, we're like, what in the world? And in order to replace that particular, or we thought we could just buy another glass door to go with the, to create the pair again. But no, the actual unit, as an example, is discontinued. So then you have to replace the entire shower piece. And that's an unexpected expense that can pop up and really cause havoc, to your finances, especially if you feel like, I got to have it. I don't have any other recourse for this. So your appliances, plumbing can be a problem. Once upon a time, back home, I have a home where it was built on a slab, and so doing a plumbing repair was not as easy as a home that is a little built up and you can crawl under or whatever the case is. And so that costs thousands of dollars. And I think that if you are, let's say, in a situation where you are with your life partner, or you're married, or whatever the case is, one of the things that I believe people need to really consider is, how do we save together for these rainy days? Like, what do we do so that we won't be caught off guard and have to pay out of pocket money that we really did not expect to spend? So, that's a part of the reality of home ownership. And just like you said, it's the same as having a car. If something goes down with your car, you want to have that rainy day savings as well. So home maintenance is very important. And I think people
Very important.
Understand it. Yeah.
Very important. And I recommend that you have a housing inspection every year on your house. It's kind of like getting a tune-up on your car. I think you should have a housing inspection every year. And it's almost like, and have preventative maintenance on your big ticket items like your HVAC, so that you can try to prevent it from going down. It's just like getting an oil change in your car every 5,000 miles. So yeah, get a home inspector shared that tip with me about 3 years ago. And I just had one on my show not too long ago. And he said the same thing. But yeah, because we're not going underneath the house. We're not going on top of the roof. We're not inspecting the HVAC or the plumbing. So I think it's a great idea to have a home inspection done every year. And again, like I said, put money away the same way we save for vacations, the same way we save, the same way we go get these $2,000 iPhones.
Oh my gosh.
I just think we got to look at it in a different light, the same way that we just throw money away. We got to look at things differently and budget accordingly.
Can I ask you about this annual home inspection that you were suggesting? On average, do you think a lot of people will take that route? I don't think so. I just don't think.
I didn't even think about it until she just said it. Makes sense though.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I think
the average. It makes sense.
The average
You're
person
right.
probably won't, and it could be a little excessive, right? So maybe
Yeah.
let's just say once every 2 years, once every 3 years. But like April said, most people never even fathom that, because it was never a thought in my head until my home inspector said it, and I was like, that's a great idea. I mean, and why not do it? Because for most people, it is the biggest purchase of your lifetime. So why not do it? But you know what? But Edward, in your defense, what you said, just like our bodies, right? The most important thing in the world. But many of us don't go get health screenings.
Well, checkup, at least once a year or something like that.
But we don't do it, do we? Most of us don't do it.
That's true. That's
but we
absolutely
should.
true.
But we should. And I think the more that we put it out there and the more that people hear it, the more it will register, and prayerfully, the more people will do it.
Well, a lot of times there are constraints for doing that. There's people of very low income. Okay, if they don't, I don't know if Medicaid or Medicare gives you that option or anything, but depending on your income, a lot of people just can't afford to go once a year. I mean, that's just reality. I've seen that a lot. That they cannot afford to go and get a health checkup once a year. I mean,
yeah,
I was astounded, but it happened.
That is true, and especially if you're not in an area where there are health screenings offered, because I do know that in a lot of low income areas where people may not have access to the healthcare that they need or the money they need, there are programs out there that do offer some free health screenings. So we got to stay in tune.
Yeah, right.
I think it goes back to what.
Wanted to bring it.
Yeah. I think it goes back to what Sue Hamm was talking about initially, which is mindset. We definitely have to change our mindset about things like this, because a lot of times, Brother Edward, it could be related to the cost of healthcare or even access, but then it's also kind of what's been handed down generationally. Whereas if you were not, I guess, subject to visiting the doctor or the dentist on a regular basis because your parents really didn't do it, then there's going to be something instilled in you that maybe you don't need to do it. Your parents were okay, that kind of thing. And so, when you're changing mindsets, as Sue mentioned earlier, to get somebody ready for home buying, there's kind of a relational piece to it all. And your example of, the healthcare piece is definitely a part of that. One of the things that I definitely want us to get into before our time is up is another side to Sue Ham, which is the investment side. Now, this is a really big deal, Brother Edward, because as you and I both know, in the community that we live in and we're from, you look around the communities, especially in African American or Black communities, and you see dilapidated homes, you see heirs' property that is no longer kept. Nobody knows if there's even any heirs left. Homes that are subject to foreclosure and because of tax situations and all that. And as soon as you see someone come into the neighborhood to scoop up that property, your thought is, wait a minute, why didn't we do that? What is going on? And so when it comes down to like the investment side of things, I think that has become a hot button item with people. But again, don't know how to do it. Don't even know where to start. It looks like it could be, a very hard thing to do, especially if you're dealing with a property that looks like if a good wind comes by, it's just going to blow over. Right. And Sue, I've seen some of the before and afters on the properties that you have redone, and Brother Eric, when I tell you, it's like, what? I would be afraid to even walk into the building. But can you give us like some insight, first of all, into how you got into that side of things? And then now you brought your son Jackson into the fold. We really want to hear a little bit about how you passed down that particular concept of investments through real estate as, the generational wealth piece. So we'll go with those two things. How did you get into it, and how are you passing it on to your son?
Well, way back in the day when I used to be a federal employee, I was working at USDA Rural Development, and I remember I was a loan assistant, and I was helping people that would come in, in poor credit. And again, this was back 2003, and I would just give them little tips to improve their credit. They'd come back and apply for USDA loan, and we had investors in there that were buying the old homes and fixing them up and turning around and selling them to the clients that came in. And I was like, what in the world? And I was looking at the profits, right? And then of course, they had all these shows like the Armando Brothers on TV, the Vixen Flips and all that. And I was just fascinated by it because to me, it was like doing a stage production. You're writing a story, you're taking it from this scene to this scene to this scene, and then the ending is, boom, the house is beautiful, you sell it, someone inhabits it, and they make beautiful memories. And so I love that. I love the transformational piece of it. I love the profitable piece of it. And so I started watching the shows. At that time, I don't think YouTube was even out in 2003 through 2006. And so all I could do was learn from the shows. I didn't have anyone to teach me. Back in the day, people were safeguarding information like it was, I don't know. But you didn't even know back then who real estate investors were. And so I was like, man, it just looks like they're just getting old houses and fixing them. So I said, the only thing I got to do is three things: find an old house, find some contractors, get some money, make it do what it do.
She said only three things.
Incorrect. First of all, you need to go get you some knowledge. That's the first thing you need to do. You need to learn how to budget and how to save for a rainy day, how to vet contractors, how to be able to do the numbers for these deals to make sure it's going to work out. You need to have exit strategies. Okay, how do you plan to get rid of this house? Do you plan to, after you fix it, refinance it, and then put a tenant in it and allow the tenant to make the mortgage payments for you? Or do you plan to fix it and sell it? What are your exit strategies? So how do you plan to find these contractors? And so how do you plan to get the financing to do this if you're not using your own funds? So I had a serious lesson. I had to file bankruptcy in 2009. I got in the game in 2006 and filed bankruptcy in 2009. It was an expensive lesson, but I learned it. So from there, I was afraid. I just stepped away from it. I didn't do it. I didn't get back into the game until 2020 again with investing. And by that time, I had built up my knowledge. I was reading everything. I was watching everything. I was going on other people's job sites, just learning different things and just analyzing myself and to find out what I had done wrong or what I could have done differently or what I could have done better. And so for me, the biggest thing is, and it sounds so cliche, but it's the God's honest truth. Get a mentor or either go on YouTube University and get the free information. I mean, biggerpockets.com is a wealth of information that's free if you want to go there and start looking it up. But if you want everything condensed in one spot, just get a mentor. Understand what your exit strategies are going to be, and find out where you want the money to come from. Is it going to be money from your 401k that you want to do this with, or do you want to borrow money and then also buy in the right location?
Yeah. So there's a question on your list, and I'd like to ask this. If Jackson or your other children were sitting here, what do you hope he'd say he's learned from watching you?
You got to be flexible, and you got to be you just got to prepare best as you can for everything that you think that could happen. And even when something happens and you thought you had prepared for everything, you got to be flexible and ready to pivot at a moment's notice and be a problem solver. I will say this: I love taking houses that barely have any life in them and just breathing life back into it, because for one thing, it helps to clean up the community. Number two, it helps other homes accrue appreciation, which increases their wealth. And then
As the
also
taxes go up,
and that's the thing. And that's I'm glad you brought that up, Edward, because that's a real thing. People are like, my taxes went up, my taxes went up. And I say to them, I say, but your net worth increased as well. And I guarantee you, your net worth is going to far surpass how much you pay in taxes. And so again, it goes back to mindset and again to equipping yourself with the right information, because if we don't, we're going to keep that broke mentality of, I don't want my taxes to go up. Well, then you don't want your net worth to grow up. You don't want the generational wealth that you can pass on to increase. And that's okay. I'm not judging, but understand that that comes with it. So yes, I am going into the neighborhood and I may be causing people's taxes to go up, but I'm also helping their net worth to increase. But I love doing that, and people are thankful because they don't have to have abandoned houses beside them that people are probably going in and doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And so that's what I love to do. Yes, Lakeisha Smalls. She's an amazing realtor, Sumter, Charleston, South Carolina. Y'all check her out.
Awesome. Shouts out to Lakeisha Smalls. All right. I love it. Long-term goals for Sue Ham. Question: what are your long-term goals, and how do you plan to serve the next generation of entrepreneurs and homeowners?
I don't even know if I have long-term goals anymore. I came across something that said, really too, I've been living, I've just decided to take it day by day.
Yes.
I'm 51 now. And I was setting all these goals and these things for, and now I'm just so thankful for each day. I'm telling you, when my eyes open up, I'm just thankful. So now I take bite-sized goals. Yeah. I heard somebody said, break your goals down into 12 weeks. And to me, that seems to be a little bit better for me than trying to do 52 weeks. So just take small goals and breaking them down in 12 weeks. And so I guess those small goals would be, I really want to, in the next 12 weeks, which is 3 months, I think it is to be able to help 30 families get into homes. Now, Now, I want to help them. I would like to
Mm-hmm.
personally help them, but if I can't personally help them, they don't come through me. That's fine. If they come across my content, the education that educates them and it prepares them to go to somebody else, then that's cool too. Because I understand what homeownership brings. And this was way before I became a mortgage broker. I understand that homeownership brings stability. You don't got to worry about somebody telling you to get out unless you're not paying the mortgage. You don't got to worry about
Yeah.
somebody
Mm-hmm.
telling you can't paint it this color inside your house. Now outside, depending on the HOA, they might say
That part.
something.
Oh, don't say those three letters. Oh my gosh.
But I know what homeownership does. I know when I can pull the equity out of the walls and I can refinance, and if I want to pay off high credit card debt, or if I want to start a business venture, I have that right there at my fingertips. I don't have to worry about, begging and hoping that somebody can do this for me. It's my home. And if I don't want to refinance, if I want to live in my home, if I bought it in an appreciating area and I want to live in it for 2 to 5 years and it has appreciated, which if you go back and you look at the data, on average, homes have appreciated in certain areas $25,000 to $100,000 every year. That's more than some people make going to a job. So if
That's
I live
right.
in that home for 2 years and I want to turn around and sell it, and I make $250,000 in profit. Guess what? That's tax free.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
so I can turn around and rinse and repeat.
He wants you to repeat that.
Really? Is that tax free?
He's like, go
Capital
back to
gain.
that.
Yes, the prop
Is that,
for if you live in it, if it's your primary and
so
you
it's
live
not
in
a it's not a capital gains.
no, if it's your
It's not a
primary,
capital gains.
if it's your primary and you live in it for 2 years or more and you're a single person and you can up to $250,000, there's no tax. If it's a married couple, up to $500,000, there's no tax. But let me also say I'm not a CPA, but you can Google this stuff and look at it and talk to a CPA. It's out there. That's why if you think about it, I was always trying to figure out why are certain people moving every 2, 3 freaking years.
Mm-hmm.
They know the game. They buy in
Mm.
appreciating areas where their houses are appreciated. A house down the road from me, I think it was built 4 or 5 years ago. It was a builder, and I think he might have put it up for about 300,000-400,000, maybe less than that, because he's a builder. So he's putting it up a lot cheaper. The house just sold for $803,000.
Ooh.
So you can't tell me that houses. So when people try to come at me with that, you can't tell me if you operate the vehicle the right way that owning a home does not open the avenue to wealth or financial freedom. You just got to have the information and know how to navigate. But you can also, someone said that's correct with the capital gains tax. So, and I know friends that have done it and they've attested to it. Like, yo, that's exactly what I did. I moved and 2 years later, I had $140,000 tax free. I was like, wow.
Wow.
That's more than working some jobs. So just imagine supplementing your income by doing that.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Learn something new tonight, Brother Edward.
But they moved to another house of equal purchase of equal value to.
They moved to another state or another town, wherever they want to go. Because you got to think, if you're a veteran, right? And this is what a lot of people don't know, is if you're a veteran, you can use your VA entitlement more than once. So if you're a veteran, it's 0% down, right? So if every 2-3 years you moving and you making $50,000, $100,000, $200,000 off the previous house, you putting 0 down and just paying closing costs. I mean, you do that 5, 6, 7 times, you're a multimillionaire.
Wow, I didn't know that you could use that VA benefit more than once.
Matter of fact, if you will throw that graphic up, you guys can go.
Yes.
If you're a veteran, surviving spouse, please go to my website, download this free home buying guide. It gives you all the information you need to know about VA loans. It's absolutely free. I'm not even asking for your email. Just go to the website and get the VA guide absolutely free. If you know somebody, tell them to go get it.
I'll tell you, Brother Edward, this is some powerful information. It really is empowering information.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
coming straight from Miss Sue Ham.
Yes, sir. And I'm gonna tell you something else I like to do from my real estate investor hat. It's like I don't encourage people to buy single family homes, especially if you're really young. Go buy a duplex. If you're a veteran, you can still get into it, with no money down. You just got to live in one of it and rent the other side, or go buy a triplex or a quad. Now you become a homeowner and a real estate investor at the same time,
At the same
simultaneously.
time.
Now, guess what? You can still do that if you're not a veteran. With conventional loans and FHA loans, you can still do that. Put down 3 to 5%, live in one side, and rent out the others. So that's something to look at. You got kids going to college, and you got a bunch of equity sitting in your house. Do not put them in a dorm. Go buy a single family. Go buy a single family house, or go buy a duplex and rent out the rooms. That's what the college is doing to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Turn your kid into an investor. And that's what I'm teaching Jackson, my 15-year-old, is I'm like, son, if you want to go to college, you're not staying in a dorm. You're going to buy a house around that college, or you're going to buy a small multi-unit, 2, 3, 4 unit, and you're going to rent that out, and you're going to make money, and then you're going to build equity and build your net worth. That we're not going to pay to college. That's no, sir.
She is definitely spitting game here, Brother Edward. And she's right. Everybody else is doing it. Look, there's some people out there who know all about this. So this is incredible. It really is.
Who's SD with?
She's a homegirl. We're just gonna say that. Yeah, but I can tell you one thing, Sue Ham, she's a CPA and one of the best around. So if anytime she co-signs something, I'm like, okay, I'm listening, and like this.
I feel honored.
Yes,
I feel honored, SD Witt. So see, Edward, she just co-signed the capital gains, and she's co-signing the small multi-units. But yeah, do y'all research. I try to tell this to everybody I can, and then I thank you, April. I thank you, Edward, for allowing me to come on your show. As you can see, I get real passionate about this. Because we didn't have this growing up, and there's still a lot of people don't have this growing up. And I tell my son, I said, son, you're 15 and you're going to start working on properties. I said, son, you could become a multimillionaire by the time you're 21. You can even do that before you leave high school. Get this. I just want to say this, and I'm going to shut up about it. I'm not encouraging nobody to leave their jobs. You can work if you have a job, right? Because I feel like teachers, military members, healthcare providers, anybody that's in the service industry are grossly underpaid. But you love what you do. But guess what? Keep your job, keep doing what you love, but why not supplement your income by either acquiring one rental a year or either selling one home a year and supplementing your income? That's something to think about. People don't think about this stuff. You got a house and you got a bunch of equity in it. It might be something you want to do. Maybe you don't want to be a renter. Okay, buy a house, fix it, and sell it. Now, you will have to pay capital gains tax on that because you ain't living in it. But still, you paying W-2 tax. Which is the highest taxes out there.
Yeah.
So wow. How long did it take you to, I guess, gain the knowledge and then apply the knowledge? Do you think it's just really about level of motivation? Because this is a lot to unpack for someone who doesn't study it every day or work in it every day. But it's just flowing out of you. Like, guys, you got to get this. So how long did it take you to get into this?
Well, I started with home loans back in 2003, I think it was, 2006, but I didn't stay in it. So here's the thing though, and things have changed so much with regulations and rules. Like the stuff I used to do back then is so totally different now. So I really had to just put my head down and start learning. I was reading a lot. I was watching a lot of videos, and I actually hired mentors. But I did a lot of free stuff first. And that's why I always tell people, you can do a lot of free stuff, but you also need to get with somebody who's doing it and see how they do it. And then, life teaches you, because even though you pack on a lot of information and knowledge, there's nothing like doing it. You really want to learn it, you got to do it.
Do it.
Yeah, I just went real hard, started in 2020, went real hard and started reading it. That became my life. I was consumed with it because, as COVID hit, I could no longer do stage plays. And I remember asking God, I said, I need something to do that's not going to be really impacted by the economy. It's something that people really, really need to do. And, the words I got was get back into real estate. And because we all need, shelter. So, and it's amazing how the thing that we need can also supply our needs. Come on, somebody.
That's a word. You tried to my head. That's a word, brother. Oh.
Come on, somebody.
And look, Sue, you listen to Sugar Hill over there.
That's right. Conway Community Sugar Hill. That's a word right there. I love it. I absolutely love it.
Right.
Sue, I'm glad that we put up the information about the VA home buying guide, and there was also another graphic we wanted to share with everyone regarding refinance. So I'm gonna put that up, and if you want to speak a little bit about it, that would be great.
Yeah, if you guys are battling 18% credit card debt, 24% credit card debt, and you've got some equity sitting in your home, sometimes, I know we say, I got that 4% interest rate, I got that 5% interest rate, but if everything else you have is 18, 24% interest rate, and the CPA can speak to this, when you do the average, you're still paying a whole lot of money, and especially if you're just paying the bare minimum on your credit cards or your car or whatever. So it may be better for you to refinance your home and take that cash and pay down all of that debt and just get some breathing room and reset. Do I think that we're going to see 3-4% interest rates again anytime soon? No, I do not. But I do know that sometimes for some people, it is better to refinance and go into a 5%, 6% interest rate and pay off all of that bad debt that they have so that they can have peace of mind. So it's just something to do. If you'd like to talk about it, I'm open to do that. You can always do a free loan consultation with me via the website at loanswithsueham.com.
So this has been some powerful information tonight, and I'm going to put up your contact info. This is her calling card, looking so beautiful. Look, helping people to get into homes, to get that shelter. I love it. And so Sue, if they want to be in touch with you, there's loanswithsueham.com. She has a Facebook page. You can check it out. As a matter of fact, she does live podcasts and things of that nature. So she's always, sharing information and knowledge. And if you want to check it out, you may want to definitely like and even share her Facebook page. And she's on the other social media handles as well. But Sue, as we roll out, what's the last thing you'd like to leave with people?
I just want to say this, man. I don't believe that God put us here to strive and struggle. I believe that God put us here to thrive. And so I think that information is one part of it, but what good is information if you never do? You have to execute. So knowledge is not power. At least I don't think so. Because you can have knowledge all the day long, but until you do something with that knowledge, it's just packing up that your brain housing group, as we call it in the Marine Corps. So do something with what you know. Understand that I don't think that you're sent here to struggle. The same way we invite struggle into our life, we can invite success into our life. It may not be easy all the time, but it surely is simple. You just got to make it do what it do. And so I encourage you to make it do what it do, whatever it is in your life, whether it's home ownership, whether it's financial freedom, whether it's better health, whether it's peace, whatever it is that you want, I'm praying that you thrive in it. But the thing about it is you got to get off the couch and get in the game.
I advise our viewers to just do a screenshot of what's up there now so that they can keep that. Okay.
Yeah, screenshot, take a little. Yeah, absolutely. This is great information. And of course, we would appreciate anyone who will share the playback to share this video so that everybody can watch the playback. For those of you who are just tuning in, thank you, Carolyn Hickman Williams. We really appreciate you coming in. And she's like, I caught the end of it, but I'm gonna go back and watch the first part, and she will. So we really appreciate that. And to our viewers who are out of town, Ms. Vernell, of course, she's always the first one in the room, Columbia, South Carolina. Please share this information. Stephanie Sessions Malone, we appreciate you as well. And for those of you who didn't comment, we get it. But we want you to make sure that you share this information. There's got to be at least one somebody who is looking to buy a home or may need to refi or just taking this great information as they're planning for the future. And Sue, we appreciate you so much for spending this time with us this evening, and definitely wish you the best of success. And we know God's going to bless you because you're blessing others. So thank you so much.
Thank you, April, and thank you, Edward. I really enjoyed this dialoge. Thanks so much.
Sue, this knowledge is definitely power. Okay.
Knowing through Ham is power. That's there. The knowledge of through Ham. I get it. That's awesome. So thank you so much. Have a good one.
Thank you. Blessings.
All right. So, Brother Edward, that was just an incredible broadcast. I mean, we packed a lot into about an hour. And I don't know anyone who didn't benefit from what she was talking about. You know, either you're planning for the future, you're already in a home situation. She talked about, you know, moving into appreciating communities, some things we hadn't thought about in terms of home maintenance and all that good stuff. So we really do appreciate that.
I'm glad she explained that part about people who complain about, oh, my tax is going to go up because somebody just built a new house or renovated a house. Yeah, let them know that it's an advantage. You know, with the tax appraisal taxes, that's the city taxes probably going up. But, the net worth is going to far exceed that.
Correct.
So I'm glad she explained that just a bit more.
Absolutely. So before we leave tonight, we do know that there was a very important meeting tonight at Bethel AME Church, meet and greet with the new superintendent of Horry County Schools. And so hopefully we can get some information about what went on at that meeting and share it with our listeners and viewers next week. But also I have some community announcements coming from Marjorie McIver, and she's attending that meeting, so she sent some great information for us to share with everyone regarding the summer literacy and the new summer jobs program. So just to let you all know, the summer literacy and summer jobs programs are now live as far as the registration forms. They're now live on the WCMmagazine.net website. So if you're interested in either or both programs, you can go to the website, and I'll pull it up in just a second. You can go to the website and take a look at the information regarding the summer literacy program, and then also the structure for the summer jobs program, which of course is a program that was actually founded by our very own Edward McQueen and Sister Joella McQueen. And so it's wonderful that we are able to bring the program back this year, and we're adding something a little different to it. It's more of an employability course. And so the participants in the summer jobs program will have the opportunity to learn some great employability skills, soft skills, a few life skills and things of that nature. And then they'll go out into the world of work, and as they're assigned to certain community partners who've agreed to work with World Community Magazine this year. Not only that, but the participants will, you know, gain some great employability skills and knowledge that they can use for the future. They'll be able to work with an employer and learn all about what it's like to work on the job and get that on the job training. And they're actually going to get a nice little stipend weekly. And it's a 6-week program. So that's one program that's available for our teens ages 14 to 17 this year. The other part of that is the summer literacy program. And we're actually going to do a kickoff for both of these programs on May 31st. From, I think it's 1 to, let me double check before I put it out there. It is, May 31st from 1 to 4 p.m. at the Conway Library. We're going to talk about the summer literacy program, the literature that will be read, and the activities, including the field trips. We'll talk about all of the components of the summer literacy program, and we'll also talk about the summer jobs program as well. So, Brother, while I pull up the website, you want to just kind of give them the history of summer jobs and even talk a little bit about some of the community partners that have been a part of this in the past.
Yes. So we had some graphics, April, I think we had some time ago, showing what has occurred over the past. So in this year, it's going to be just not radically different, but it will be different. And in terms, as April just said, about having it in a Zoom manner. Okay. For example, hypothetically, if it's Monday and Wednesday, 1 hour per day on a Zoom, and the time is to be determined. Plus, we give you an hour for studying to get to that. So that's 3 hours per week, and you'll be compensated for that, or the student will be compensated for that. I don't know if I should go into the specifics of that, April. Should I go into the
Not right now. Mm-mm.
Okay, not right now.
Not right now. Mm.
But it's under $200 an hour. Okay, and put it that way. It's under that. Okay, so yeah, but that's where we're heading, and we think that it's I got to give this April all this credit, because I mean she came with a new approach, which seemed to be very, very feasible, and so it's we think that it's attractive also, and for students to not only just get hands-on experience, but academically, this is something that's leaning towards them, and immediately after the program is over, after 6 weeks, you're going to be employed for 6 weeks, by the way. After the program is over for 6 weeks, you should be prepared for work. If you want to get a part-time job someplace, or and while you're a senior in high school, because you will be, or junior in high school, because our ages for that is 14 to 17. But I want to get back to a little bit more specific. That is that the end is going to 6 week program, but at the end of the 5th week, you will work a full week instead of 3 hours per the 5 weeks. Okay, so expect a pretty good stipend at the end of that time, and of course you'll be paid every week anyway for the Zoom participation. Okay, so just expect at the end a pretty good stipend, a cumulative stipend that you will have gotten by that time. Okay, so you can, I don't know what you're going to do over the summer, buy you some clothes, and all that good stuff.
Get your supplies for next year.
Yes, but it's going to be a good stipend. That's all I'm going to say right now.
For prom.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I have the WCM Magazine website, and if you will just go to the navigation, you'll see 2025 Summer Youth Programs. There's information about the Summer Literacy Program, Expand Your Mind, Feed Your Imagination, Learn Your History. And so, the titles that are shown here on this graphic are titles that either were part of the previous summer literacy programs, or even just books in general that are great reads. But for the most part, all you'll need to do if you're interested in enrolling your child or your student ages 6 through 18. This is the great thing about the summer literacy program. A much wider range of ages can participate in the summer literacy program. So we have had them as young as 6, and we have literature that is easy for them to follow. And so it would be great if you have, young children and you can sit in with a Zoom, or if you have a couple of young people in your home, they can participate in, the kickoff information as well. But ages 6 to 18, they'll register through this website, WCM Magazine, and this is the actual page. You'll know you're on the right page. Again, it's here, Summer Literacy Program. And all you need to do is complete this form here at the bottom. Make sure that when you put in your address, that you're putting in the home address, city, state, and zip code. Complete that. We'll need that information for the end of the program. But once you put in this information, and we learn a little bit about, the types of books that your child or your children like to read, favorite book or favorite author, this information will be submitted to Ms. Marjorie McIver and the team that's working on the summer literacy program, so that they can figure out how to group the individuals or the participants with the right age group, the right literature that's been chosen for the summer, and all of the activities that go along with it. So make sure you go to this WCMmagazine.net website and you click on Summer Youth Programs for the Summer Literacy Program form. Also, you can find the Summer Youth Employment course, which is what Brother Edward and I were just talking about. And Brother Edward, I do have a picture here of some previous participants who participated at the City of Conway, the James R. Frazier Center, Hope and Freedom Home Care, Palmetto MB Church Summer Camp, and a few other places, Camp Great. And of course, Brother Edward is working on securing the community partners who are willing to take in participants when it's time for them to go out for their week of employment. But this new program has 2 components covered over 6 weeks. It includes the 5 weeks of interactive Zoom lessons that will be at least twice a week. And then in the 6th week of the program is when they will go out into the job force and actually work with our community partners to gain a little bit of job experience. So this program is for students ages 14 to 17. Right now, the class size is limited to 20 students. So as soon as you know your students want to be a part of the summer jobs program, please have them sign up as soon as possible. We will create a wait list should we have more than 20 students to sign up. But we'll deal with that when we get to it. But right now, the class size is limited to 20 students, and you'll receive more information about the program, including the weekly stipends and what we're going to do at the end of the program in order to recognize our youth. But the topics include dressing for success, time management. There's some financial literacy because they need to know what to do with their money once they get their paychecks.
Absolutely.
And a few other job-related topics that we think would be great. There'll be guest speakers who will talk about their career paths and how your students or your young people can think about pathways for the future. And so that's what this is all about. It also will prepare them as they get ready for that 6 week of working with the community partners. So it's real easy for Brother Edward to get community partners, and then we just send young people to them for this, a few weeks during the summer. But do they really know what to do when they are on the job? Do they know what to be mindful of? Do they know how to carry themselves and present or represent themselves while they are on the job? So this is some very valuable information that is not just for this summer. It's also things, there are also things that they will need to take with them beyond this summer program. And again, all you need to do is complete this form, send us some this information, answer the questions at the bottom, and once we have generated that information, we will be in touch with you regarding the program start. And so the registration deadline for this is Friday, June 6th. So that's the very last day that you can sign up. But again, there's only 20 slots, so you'll want to sign up as soon as possible. And so again, go to the wcmagazine.net site to sign up, and the actual kickoff is May 31st. That's a Saturday, from 1 to 4 at the Conway Library. And we'll be talking about that a little bit more. We'll even post that on the World Community Magazine's Facebook page, and we'll post it on the website as well. So
we'll send them out personally from our data bank. We'll send that flyer out. Okay. So you can take advantage of it. Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah. And I would say we're looking for any individuals who want to be a part of the program in terms of participating and talking about, some of the career topics that we want to cover. So if you are someone who would like to share your career path, if you are someone who has a particular career topic that you usually teach professionally or instruct professionally, we'd love to have you be a part of this. Anyone who's interested in sponsoring or donating to this program, Brother Edward can talk a little bit more about that. But of course, we would love for you to serve as or to give back as a donor to this program or a sponsor of this program. And we can put that information on the website as well. So, Brother Edward, do you want to talk a little bit about how donations actually help to fund these programs?
Well, we're going initially we decided that we're not going to put the amount that we're going to be paying the students, but
not right now. We'll release it.
Mm-hmm. Right now. So that's where the bulk of the money goes. Nobody's getting paid. This is for this from our donors, but we're putting a lot of time into this. Okay, so based on 20 students. We've budgeted a certain amount of money, like per student, and it's just that simple. Okay, budget a certain amount of money per student for 6 weeks of employment. I have to generalize like that because we have agreed not to put specific.
We're still working on the structure of that.
Still structure on that. Yeah. So in general, it's just that simple. Okay. We are going to be employing 20 students. For right now, I don't think we're going to go any more than 20, right, April?
Well, we'll have 20 course participants. I think we have to get into the habit of saying it that way this time around, because it's being released as an employability course with an employment component to it. So we'll have 20 participants who will enroll in this course, but they will receive a stipend and for their experiences, both through the Zoom lessons, but also through the assignment that they'll have at the end of the program when they go out to work with the community partners that Brother Edward is generating. So, but more information
you'll be
will
paid
be released.
weekly. You will be paid weekly. The stipend won't all come at the end of the 6-week program, but you'll be paid weekly.
Yep. All right. So yeah, just go to wcmagazine.net for more information, and we'll continue to update the website and also release this information via our social media channels over the coming weeks.
April.
Yes.
May 31st is crucial for
Yes.
participation. Okay.
Yes, it is.
For parents and the students. Okay.
Parents and students. So you need to come out to the Conway Library. We will talk about both programs. We'll have some special guests during that time as well who will be with us. And it's from 1 to 4. So you're getting great information about the programs that we're launching. It'll be a chance, if there are any slots left, to sign up for both programs and to learn more about the literature. There may be some materials that are distributed during that time if you want to register your students or your children for these programs. So put it on your calendar. We'll put it out there on social media, May 31st from 1 to 4 at the Conway Library.
It's Martin McIver, right?
Yeah. Okay. I have just a couple more announcements. Excuse me. There are scholarships that are currently available. There's the Whittemore Alumni Scholarship. The Matt Wynn Scholarship is Whittemore Alumni and Matt Wynn Scholarships are closed. They're reviewing applications. The awards assemblies are coming up in May, so parents and community support is needed. The quote for I guess we can call it the week: if you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. And with that being said, Ms. McIver and her team are also working on community gardens that are being set up around the area. Abdul Shahid, which of course is, we used to call it Mr. Ben's store on Sugar Hill at Singleton's Groceries, will help coordinate this program. And the Conway Library has seed giveaways and information on when to begin planning for those who want to start a vegetable garden. And it's a great idea now to get into gardening and learning how to grow your own food and some sustainable products, especially with things being so high. Grocery stores. Look, we gotta learn how to grow our own cucumbers and tomatoes.
April, by the way, he's scheduled tentatively to be on our program next week.
Okay.
Brother Shahid.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, that's great. So you'll learn more about the community garden during that time.
Right.
Okay. That's awesome. Library cards. Ms. McIver would love for you to take advantage of the library services, apply and get books for the summer. There's information on the little free libraries. You probably see the little free libraries that are kind of positioned in and around the communities. They look like little houses on a stilt, but they're around the community. You can just go and pick up a book out of the little free library. So I have one goal for the summer: read, and that goes for adults as well. So Ms. McIver is really going to push literacy and reading, and she's a reading aficionado, and she really loves books. And so this is definitely one of the passions that she's bringing to the community, along with the team that works to pull together the curriculum for the literacy program. Public information and FOIA, or Freedom of Information Act, and library or media services. If you have any questions about PIO or FOIA, as we call it, Kenny Jenrette and Lisa Boucher they're the two people with the Horry County School District who you can get in touch with when it comes down to anything that has to do with library and media services. And the last announcement that I have: Real ID is a stronger driver's license or state ID. So, of course, we've heard a lot about the push for everyone to get a real ID so that you can fly. You're going to need it. My understanding is that you're going to need it, and if you plan to fly anywhere. And as with things that are happening right now in the world, when it comes down to out of state, out of town, out of country travel, you want to make sure that all of your documents are in order. Real ID, passports, everything. So please try to get your real ID information before May 7th. It will not stop you from voting, but can be used as documentation to vote as well. So again, Google Real ID and information for your state or your community so that you'll know more about what you need to do. And May 7th is not like the deadline to get it, but everybody's encouraged to try and get your Real ID by that date. So, or on or before May the 7th. But she gave us a nice little list here, Brother Edward, and that's all that I have for tonight. Do you have anything you want to share?
I just want to reemphasize that endeavor to get your real ID. Okay, they're not playing out there. You will not get on the plane, allow you to get on the airplane without that real ID, or so to speak. Okay, so I just want to reemphasize that. And I can't say it too strongly.
Mm-hmm. All right. So you said next week we're going to have Abdul Shahid.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And so tell us a little bit more about what he's going to talk about.
Brother Shahid says he wants to talk about, in addition to what was scheduled before, that he's going to be talking about planting the garden. He was instrumental at the event that was at Friendship Church here not too long ago, in giving some background on how he can deal with young people to start farming, because people are going back to that right now, especially organic farming, and his farm is an organic farm. Okay, so. That hasn't really, I don't know if that's caught on a whole lot in the Horry County especially, but organic foods are readily available. But we have to educate our community as to the importance of eating organic foods as opposed to other foods on a more regular basis. Okay, so he's going to be here to talk about that and give us some lowdown on I call it lowdown, but a summary on what's being planted during this course of the planting season. Of course, he's going to open back up again the Singleton shop, Singleton Groceries, Sugarville, and it coincides with with next week, I believe. He's opening up in May.
All right. Well, that sounds good. Looking forward to it, and it's going to be interesting to have Abdul on a live stream, and so I think it's going to be great. Well, do you know if he'll be streaming from the store?
Well, that's what I was thinking as well. If not from the store, from his farm, from his garden. Mm-hmm. I said not a garden, but it's a I hate to say farm yet, but it's pretty large. Growing all kinds of lemons. Hey, banana. Oh wow, lemons, persimmons.
Yeah, I tried my hand at that. I have a lemon tree. Yeah, mm-hmm. yeah. Lemons, blueberries, and oranges. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he's planting and they're growing quite well. Some seasons are skipping because of that's just the way the planting season is. But yeah, mm-hmm. So next week, as a tentatively scheduled, I'll also use the word tentatively for now. Can't solidify it right now, but it's likely we'll have Brother Shahid.
All right. Well, it sounds good. Well, we're going to call it a night. And Brother Edward, like we said, hopefully we'll have information about how well the meet and greet, was over at Bethel. We can, share that information as well. We'll even have a little bit more of an update on the summer literacy and summer jobs programs. And if you have any show topics that you'd like for us to cover or know of any show guests who would be great for our weekly broadcast, please let us know. Drop some comments and let us know how to get in touch with these individuals. We'd love to showcase people who are doing wonderful things and to talk about topics that matter in our community. So thank you so much. We really appreciate everybody being here tonight. Right. And we hope that you have a wonderful week.
May 31st is crucial. Okay, we'll be sending out more information regarding that too.
Yes, absolutely. All right, take care, Brother Edward. I'll see you soon. Yes, have a good night, everyone.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook.